Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Premier Sports Campus for the second match of the 2018 Women's Nike International Friendlies between China and the United States of America.
Welcome to match day 2 of the U20 Women's Nike International Friendlies, where the U.S. is getting set to take on China. Mark Serber alongside Mike Pepper, and Mike, U.S. fell to France 2-1 just 2 nights ago, but they were very impressive in that match.
Yeah, a lot of good moments, getting themselves and creating France a very quick team. And it was nice to see how the U.S. was able to react. I thought maybe the better part of the beginning part of the game was in the U.S. favor. Then France really kind of showed their quickness, and it kind of caught the U.S. off guard, but they rebounded. They did well. Unfortunately, the result didn't go their way.
And now the U.S. is going to face different kind of problems against the Chinese team that is very, very technical, and their movement off the ball is great. What do you see the U.S. having to do here tonight?
Well, and that's it. Continue to grow as a team. Continue to go out and try and string those passes and not worry about the technical. Try and beat them through those spots when you need to.
Oh, we're going to step aside for the playing of the national anthem, starting with China, but we'll be back with you for the first half kickoff.
Playing of the national anthem of China, followed by the national anthem of the United States of America.
We are all set for match day 2 of the U20 Women's Nike International Friendlies as the USA getting set to take on China. USA playing their second game of this new U20 cycle, which is 2 years culminating in the 2020 U20 World Cup. For China, this is their first game of the new cycle. And Mike, I think even some of the coaching staff on China aren't exactly sure quite yet what their identity is going to be.
Yeah, they're still trying to learn who it is. Obviously, the long ride over, the long flight to come down to Florida, and welcomed with the foul weather throughout the morning, at least a pleasant evening tonight. But yeah, it is one of those things here is they have what this new group of players is going to do, and this is their first match. So it will be a little bit of a learning experience. We'll see how what their learning curve is, so to speak, here as we start tonight.
Good look at the meeting of the captains. Macy Bell wearing the captain's armband for the U.S. Your referees for this evening: in the center, Jamie Padilla out of Cal North. Assistant referee number 1 is Katarzyna Waszak out of New Jersey. Sarah Cortez is your assistant referee number 2. And the 4th official is Jamie Willis from right here in Florida, as we are getting set for kick. In the U.S., very good moving the ball and going forward against France, but head coach Carrie Sarver said that individual defending is what really let them down in that 2-1 loss.
Yeah, and I think when you do look at the opportunities, it was just the creation of fast, and when you start talking about those breakdowns of what it was, I mean, there was a lot of movement, but it was just the turnover in the midfield, the opportunities, and France just they made them pay for the mistakes.
This U.S. side coming out with just 4 changes to the team that lined up against France 2 evenings ago, as Rebecca Jarrett, Isabella Cook, Lainey Rouse, and Tori Hansen all come into the side. For China, this is their first match of this new cycle. It's a team that head coach Carrie Sarver said, we know whoever their starting 11 is going to field players that have technical ability to solve soccer problems, to get out of pressure in ways that, you know, we don't really see very often here in America. And then they'll also have the tactical discipline and organization that the U.S. is going to have to figure out and find ways to break them down this evening. Yeah,
and it will be. I mean, that's it. You know, do you try and get it wide? Do you see what the formation, obviously, as China sits into it, into their 5 midfielders, into the opportunity when they start to stretch this out? Do you how do you get that? And you want to continue it. The one thing we will know, and that we've seen consistently with the United States, that high pressure. See how China reacts to that as well, and maybe it will create some sort of early turnover for you.
Well, China in their traditional all-red kits are getting set to kick off. They'll be attacking from left to right across your screen, as it's Yao Munjia who's over the ball. And she will get us underway. USA versus China at the U20 level. USA looking to rebound after their 2-1 loss on match day 1 for China. This is their first game of the triangular tournament, as the U.S. will get it back to Hansen, getting her 2nd starting goal. And intercepted right away by Wang. Yang Xian, her cross is saved from going out, but then it will eventually roll over the end line, and it's a goal kick for the Stars and Stripes. Macy Bell was very good in the first game, holding down the center of defense, as Tori Hansen has come in for Abby Allen. And with Hansen and Rouse coming in, there's now 3 of the 4 players across that back line play for the North Carolina Courage's Academy. And of course, their pro team, the 2-time NWSL champions.
And I'm sure they're happy to be here right now with that Winter Storm Diego going through the Carolinas as it did. Kind of affected us a little bit this morning, but certainly not into the snow front, and it's still very pleasant weather right now.
And this is Bell to bring it forward. Over for Rouse. She'll look to come inside, and we'll come back with it. Good patience from hers. The U.S. keep possession in the early going. One thing to look for is head coach Carrie Sarver said she wanted the U.S. to move the ball quicker and be a bit more aggressive in getting it forward. So we'll look at how they do tonight, as this one's popped over the top for the run of Spanstra. Does well to track it down. Spanstra able to turn, gets the half-yard space she needed for the cross, but was unable to get it up. Kroger. And this is good work from Rouse. And she'll stand one up to the back post. It wasn't a bad ball, but it's going to trickle out for a Chinese goal kick. Good early attack, though, from the U.S.
Yeah, and it was good work by Kroger. That ball came in, and the defender stopped it. She was able to come around on the inside and at least create and keep the chance going. Unfortunately, it didn't go out, and the ball going through wasn't able to find anyone in a red, white, and blue jersey. But it was a good little run there for the U.S.
Ju's goal kick for China. Jarrett wins it on the far side. Good strength from Pinto in midfield, and she'll win the free kick. Early cross lifted in, and Kroger was going for it, and the header will come back for Zhu.
Kruger not the tallest out there, but she's able to get a header on it. Maybe had to, in that still feet, wasn't able to get a lot of momentum onto the goal. But the important thing is put it on target, and maybe you never know what might happen from there.
So it'll be a throw-in on the far side for Martinez, who did a great job against France of getting into the attack and putting in some dangerous crosses, as the U.S. will look to build it out of the back. Rouse. China have 4 players on this roster who competed at last summer's U20 World Cup. China, just like the U.S., finishing in 3rd place, just outside of the 2 spots to go into the knockout rounds.
Forward now, forward now.
Rouse being urged to go forward. Into the space. That was a good run by Gray, and she'll win the first corner kick of the game for the U.S.
Shouldn't give up on that one. Certainly able to get down there, and that does earn the kick here for the U.S.
This will be taken by Kruger. Scored a gorgeous goal against France. The 16-year-old gets set to drive it into the box. Oh, it's a good ball across, and it's cleared off the line, and then slotted just wide. But a good opportunity for the U.S., who have fired off a couple early warning shots.
Yeah, they were running down. Macy Bell came in on the near post and was able to get a solid effort off that first one, but it was blocked. The rebound, though, she just tried to place on that near post and couldn't quite find the net.
U.S. continue to battle. China wrestle possession away. And that pass just a bit too far.
Pretty good contention of China. For the upper 90, but just a little high on that end.
Well, the keeper was beaten comprehensively, but the post came to her rescue, and the ball's back at the feet of Ju once again, as she'll smash it downfield. Header away from Hansen, and neatly brought down in the midfield by Cook, who was excellent after coming on as the 70th minute sub against France, and gets the start this evening. It's Bell to bring it forward. Hansen, inside for Pinto. Ball over the top. Was looking for the run of Jarrett. It'll be another throw-in for the U.S. 0-0 in the 8th minute, but the U.S. have had a couple of very dangerous opportunities. Pinto smacking the post just moments ago. Before that, another effort skipped just wide of the near post. Pinto spinning in midfield, twisting, turning. Able to ride a few challenges. Tried to play it back for Cook, but it's taken away. Yang Xishan gets it out wide. Well, it's 1-on-4. Still able to get the shot off, but it's nothing to concern handcuff in the end. Goal kick for the U.S.
Well, you pointed it out, 1v4, you really have no chance but to go on goal if you can. She had so much space in the meantime that because it was such a counter with the U.S. losing it in the midfield. But they still had a lot of white jerseys back behind the ball, waiting for the runners to come in. But it was a chance, and they were not able to put the shot on target.
Cook will get it back for Hansen. Here comes the U.S. once again. A lot of movement in front of that back line as they try to get the ball into the midfield, and they do through Cook. Was unable to smuggle it through for Spanstra. China overtakes. Yang Xian again, but won back by Kroger. Overtaken in midfield by Yang Shosha. Back for Han. Skips past one challenge and gets it out wide. Over the top from Do, and it's a good ball, but the offside flag is up. That was a great ball, though, looking for the run of Yao Moonja. She left the starting gates just a bit too early, and it's a reprieve for the U.S.
Well, the back line did a good job of holding that run. They saw the forward going through and held their feet and were able to get the flag.
Velvet touch from Kroger, and a great job by Rouse to come help her get out of pressure. China finding their shape as they drop into two banks of four. Bit of an errant clearance, but China are first to it, and it's hooked away. Cook doing everything required of that holding midfielder, winning it in front of the back line. Rouse. Rouse's NC Courage U16-17 sides were one of the feature games at the U.S. Soccer Development Academy Winter Showcase. And Courage doing very well here at the Winter Showcase, but I know they were missing her.
That was a dangerous chance there. China timed that run very well, but Hansen stepped in front of that and didn't allow it behind her.
Bell will slide it out for Hansen. It's a tough go of it at the U20 World Cup for both of these sides. As Yao plays this one through. We'll get back to that in a second. Zoe. Just unable to track it down on the far side was Yang Su-hui. So it'll be a throw in for Brianna Martinez. But getting back to that, the USA finishing third, just 2 points behind eventual runners-up Spain, and first in that group were the champions Japan. So it goes to show just how hard the US's group was. And over in China's group, they missed out on that second spot in advancing by just 1 goal, as Nigeria went through with a better goal difference, despite the fact that both of them had 4 points. Rouse. USA 3-time U20 World Cup winners. China have twice been finalists back in 04 and 06. Both of these teams beginning the long cycle building towards, for the U.S., what will be the 2020 U20 CONCACAF Championship, which serves as the qualifying tournament for the U20 World Cup. And for China, the U19 AFC Championships, which serves as their qualifiers.
Well, that's the thing about youth national teams. They're ever changing. And when you start talking about a few of these girls for both being a part of the previous cycle, but still young enough in order to continue to participate, that is what youth teams do. They just continue to try and churn and move, and there are always players coming in until you get to the national team. And that's where you can, as long as you're playing well, continue to earn a spot. You have the opportunity all the time. Sometimes in here, there's just so many more youth playing. They're able to go ahead and maybe jump ahead of someone as their talent level increases.
Back in the triangle now.
Cook spins away from the pressure. Bell. Had Oyi Yao pressuring her, but she's able to get it back.
It's a beautiful ball.
That was a great diagonal ball. Kruger kills it instantly and tried to slide it through, but the defense was wise to it. However, Kruger's high pressure forced that ball to be played with a bit too much pepper on it, and the U.S. were almost able to win it back in midfield. Nothing on you, Mike Pepper.
I was nowhere near it. Can't move that fast anymore anyway.
Pinto unable to turn. Yao gets it back. Martinez steps in to win it for the U.S.
Stay there, Pinto. Stay there. Round her forward.
Hansen for Jarrett. Cook, perfectly measured ball for Kruger. Working her way into the box. And Kruger was stood up as Doe is able to get it clear, but it will be a throw-in for the U.S. But once again, high pressure paying off for the red, white, and blue, and it will be a throw-in for the 16-year-old Kruger.
Like it maybe caught Kruger a little by surprise as Jean jumped for it, maybe mistimed that, and Kruger thought that maybe she had missed it. She may have been done a little more with that.
Well, it's a good run in from Martinez. The cross too close to the keeper, as Zhu Mengdi will take. Zhu Mengdi, who has already made her professional debut for Sichuan, pushing everybody up and now elects to put this one on the floor. T Spanstra toward her before sending it long, and it's repelled by Bell. This time it's Hansen who gets it away. Han to bring it forward. Back to Zhu. And now the U.S. starting to pinch in, and it forces the errant clearance. Well, for the goal that Kruger scored and everything she's done with the ball at her feet, one of the most impressive things about her, for me, Mike, is her ability to pressure, and right on cue, she steps in to win the ball back.
Well, that's an important part of what the U.S. does. You create pressure in that offensive third, and maybe you can continue to get turnovers when you get them back.
Martinez barrels her way to the end line. Her cross is cut off by Han. Jarrett will let this roll out for a throw-in. Well, just over 16 minutes played, Mike, and so far it's been all U.S.
Yeah, I think we had the one run going out on the one turnover, but you're right. The U.S. has controlled play. They did have the one shot from distance. They had the nice corner kick. Other than that, trying to get behind that. We talked about how technical China is. I mean, defensively, they've pretty much done all they wanted except for maybe a chance or two, and the U.S. has still got to find a way to get that ball into the areas to create those openings just a little bit more. But that's what the early part of the game is for here.
It's going to be a throw-in for Jean. And Kruger wins the free kick. Didn't look to be much in it. Referee Jamie Padilla has a much better view than we do, as Bell will get it across for Hansen. Inside for Cook. Rouse for Pinto. Kruger wanting to dance. Gets around John, works her way into the box and wins the free kick right on the edge of it.
Well, she was able to go through the legs, and a lot of times you'll find the defender, and in this case, as young Sheehan was able to, well, not actually was Jean, she just grabbed that arm, grabbed the jersey, and wouldn't allow her to go behind it, so it's a dangerous chance here for the U.S.
It's Gray who's over it. Virginia Tech playmaker getting ready to swing this one in. Oh, it's a perfect delivery Kroger gets it back. And just too many bodies in the way for Pinto to get it through.
Get a hold of it. Good. Shade. Stay connected.
Yangxian,
Rotate.
Mao. And a good job by Rouse to step up. As we take a look here, and that's a great ball. It was just behind Kruger, but did a great job to lay that off. And the right idea from Jarrett, my apologies, just looking to try and steer that one into the corner.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, Jarrett was so good when she came into the game against France on Friday night. It was one of those opportunities. We haven't seen her much out in that wing outside, but in that opportunity is just put it on target, but it was blocked. I think it may have been blocked by one of the U.S. players as well.
Long ball looking for the run of Spanstra. It's asking a lot of her, but she's applying the pressure. And Han is just going to play this out. Well, Spanstra gets the job done, and the U.S. can get more white jerseys forward. Rouse is dispossessed, but she's able to win it back. Cleared for Shen. Inside for Ouyao. She pops it to the far side, but Martinez will get there first and let it roll out for a throw-in. Kroger.
Cut inside.
Gray looking to stand it up. Good defending by Jean, not allowing the cross. One back by Rouse. Still going Rouse. And there's Kroger again. She's been everywhere.
Coming back to help her defender who covered for her. Doing a good job on that one.
Slipped in. The shot pushed just aside. Oh, Pinto is getting closer and closer. Oh, they're going to say that went wide. I thought the keeper got a touch. But Pinto is really starting to take over the midfield. Lovely cutback, and that shot just skipping wide of the far post.
Tried to curl it around the goalkeeper and just didn't get enough bend on it.
Gray wins the free kick. And it's Pinto who's coming over to take. Plays it quickly for Kroger. She's measuring up across. It's a good ball and a stooping header to get it clear. Shen gets it out, looking for Ouyao. One back by the U.S.
A little higher, Mason.
And it will be a throw-in on the far side for China. So it's Martinez to take. Hansen for Bell.
Where's the 2v1? Where's the 2v1?
See, China's kind of pulled their pressure back just a little bit. They've had the two forwards doing a lot of the chasing up top, or at least as they came into the midfield area. Now they seem to only have the one and sitting back just a little bit more.
Well, they came out in a 4-2-3-1 formation, but just like you said, when they drop back to defend, it becomes a 4-4-2. Bell does a good job to come over and cut that pass off. Back for handcuff. At 11 starts in her freshman season at Villanova. Gray is drifted out wide. Kroger's taken her position inside. Now China's starting to press up a bit as the U.S. continue to work the ball around the back.
Go with her. Lainey, go with
Long
her.
ball for Kroger, just beyond her reach. And we'll go out of bounds for a throw-in for Zhang.
Well, that time it didn't work out, but that's the second time that we've seen the higher pressure from China, and the U.S. was able to send the long ball up. Last time it was right under the foot of Kroger. That one just missed her a little bit, and China pressure, at least it led to that turnover then.
This will be a throw-in for Rouse.
Turn your hips, Torrey, so you can play forward.
Well, Shen and Yao have done a lot of chasing up top for China. There's about 10 to 15 yards in between those two in the midfield line. And that's where Gray steps in to get that ball. And she was quickly picked up by Han. Forward for Jarrett.
Be ready, Lainey. Be ready.
Yep. Good, lady. Good. Weak side.
U.S. moving the ball from side to side. Trying to move China and find an opening to play it through the lines. As now Hansen steps into the attack. Jarrett chasing. That's off of her last. It'll be a throw-in for China in the 25th minute. It will be taken by Yang.
Good rotation. Close the
Yang
gate.
Xian.
Mind seam two. Don't let it get too big.
Fight for it. Fight for it. Don't let him change it. Don't let him change it. Don't let him out of here.
And this is more like China starting to string some passes together. USA forcing it all the way back to Zhu. Gets it out for Do on the far side.
Again, you can see all the pressure. You have 7 white jerseys in the defensive third of China, which helped create that turnover.
And that was a good job by Yang getting back to help out, and it will be a goal kick for China.
There's no one threatening. Take the space.
Han will gather at the top of the box. Rouse steps in. Nice spin from Mo Yao.
Get across, Lainey. Stay connected, sister. Get across.
And poked away from Yang Su Hui. Martinez wins it back. And we use the safety valve in our keeper.
Find it, Issa. In that space. Find it.
It seems to me this game has gone down just a gear in these last few minutes, Mike.
And again, I think it's a matter maybe a little bit not sure what you want to do with it from that point. We've seen China drop their defensive pressure back a little bit when the ball, and now they've actually trying to change it up. They've done a very good job of changing up what they're doing. It seems like when the U.S. in the back seems to have a little bit of space, and now they try to do that, China steps up their pressure, and they're going to take this one quickly.
Shen. Zoe. Yang Su Hui to the top of the box. Zoe steps past Cook. The shot charged down. Still something might be on here, but the shot right into the breadbasket of Handcuff, who was well positioned.
Let's go, let's go!
Goalkeeping so much about angles. Obviously, that one was down the middle, but Handcuff in good position just to make a nice, easy save.
A great job by Hansen to step in and get that block, but it fell kindly for Shen. Easy for Hansen in the end. Like you said, so much of that, though, down to her positioning and the work she did before the shot came in. Over the top for Jarrett. Flying into the box, has a step on her defender, lays it off. There were no white jerseys in the vicinity, and China able to sweep it clear. That's a good win by Hansen. Jarrett was coming back from an offside position, so it'll be a free kick for China.
I think it was Brianna Pinto who had made that run, and I think that was kind of switching back in. We've seen Jarrett come back inside, but in that case, Pinto's been dangerous in the chances she's got down around the area. That time she wasn't able to get back, and the offside flag rose.
A hint of handball, but play goes on. Martinez steps in. Jarrett, Pinto.
Quicker, Tori, quicker!
Can we find you at?
Again, you can see China sitting back in their own half now, changing up that defensive force in the U.S., and at that point, that's just an unforced error. In that case, here's another look at the handball that you called on the far side. Nothing. Maybe the better angle wasn't for the referee that time.
Cook, Pinto. Inside for Gray. Slides it through for Spanstra. Good hold-up play from Spanstra. Gets it out wide for Kroger. And she's going to the back post. And Ju will fall on it. I think Kroger had a flashback to Friday night. It was in that same area where she struck that goal against France. And then looked at first like she was going to cross it. And then it was sort of a cross become shot.
Like maybe she decided to go in the near post and run it just a little bit over Gray, who was running in.
Ready and stop.
Up! If she goes back, get up!
Just past the half-hour mark in Lakewood Ranch, Florida. 0-0 between the U.S. and China at the U20 Women's Nike International Friendlies. Cook. Kroger. She looks to have a go. The shot always rising. And it will be another goal kick for Ju, but not a bad idea from Sam Kroger.
Yes, we're not going to encourage him to press higher.
Cook misjudged the bounce, but Hansen will get it back to Handcuff. Handcuff looking to go over the top.
Don't let her turn.
A great job by Cook to step in front of Yao. But it will be a throw-in for China on the far side. So we're still searching for the game's first goal in the 32nd minute. And the U.S. have had the better of the chances. Brianna Pinto coming closest, smacking the post from the top of the box. Well, it's a lovely ball played through, but it was Doe who shut the door. And now China looking to go the other way. Cook and Pinto conspire to win it back. This is Pinto. Helped lead UNC to the College Cup final as a freshman, Brianna Pinto. And the run from Rouse. In the end, it'll be a goal kick for China. Yeah, Mike, we talked about the fact that as you go through these cycles that the majority of the squad changes, but there are still a few players who are young enough to stay in for the new cycle. And I think one thing that offers is for those players going through the cycle for a second time is the opportunity to become a leader.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's something that Brianna Pinto is really cognizant of. She said, you know, I remember being in what was my first U19 camp as a 15-year-old, and I learned so much from those girls. And now that I'm one of the older players, I really want to help the younger girls to learn and to have fun and understand what it means to represent this jersey.
That's always important, and you talk about just because of the transition from group to group as they change. Sometimes when you're in those odd years, you don't move up with the rest of the ones who do, and you have to take that opportunity. But that's the key part that you talked about, is learning from those older players beforehand, and knowing which ones to listen, not necessarily listen to, but to understand those that get it and to emulate those, because there's not always everyone who does.
Yeah, Pinto said the biggest thing that she learned was that you must and how to carry herself like a professional from those older players, that what you do on day one of the camp matters when it comes to the games at the end of the week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, however long that camp may be. And she said that's something she really wants to impart to these younger players. Pinto, of course, the most capped player on this U20 squad with her 27th appearance this evening. Came on as a sub in all 3 games in last summer's U20 World Cup. Has done a good job holding down the midfield tonight.
Go together!
Zhu gets it across for Do. And now China have numbers in the attack. Zoe. Her cross takes a deflection. Good defending by Cook, forcing China to go back with it. As Han will get it across. This is Do, who might be wearing the number 29 because she was born on February 29th. So technically she's 18, but Mike, how old is she really?
She's 4. She's 4 years old. She's had 4 actual birthdays of her birth date. So, yeah, she's 4. And it's funny. I actually have a friend who's a leap year baby as well, and they just say, "Hey, we always do February 28th." I go, "But shouldn't you really do March 1st?" I was debating, but they said in honor of the February part is why they did it.
Well, that makes sense, but I think the cool thing about that is just every 4 years you should throw a complete rager. Don't get me wrong, celebrate every birthday, but every 4 years, throw a big bash. As China going forward. Yang Xian, top of the box. Shen. Zhang venturing forward. It skips all the way across. Still might be something on here for China. And in the end, it will roll through for a grateful handcuff to fall on.
I think every time 64 years have rolled around, maybe they should get a new driver's license at some point as a 16-year-old, new voter ID card at every 72 years. And of course, every 84, just kind of get the other information of like, hey, you can now involve yourself in the sends with those that you have to be 21 to buy.
Pinto takes this throw in quickly. Could see Carrie Sarver just at the bottom of your screen, asking for the players to move the ball and continue to rotate quicker. That's why you see that Gray has switched positions with Pinto. Kroger Her first touch has been sensational this evening. Pinto will be whistled for the foul, and it was the right move there from Pinto.
We've seen China actually for the last 2-3 minutes put together, or about maybe the last 5 minutes, put together, string together some passes, string together a couple of opportunities. U.S. will withstand this, or at least this is one of those learning experiences when you talk about with the coaches of where you learn. You know, you can control a game for 30, 35 minutes. If nothing comes up to it and then something does, you need to learn how to handle these situations. Good chance now for them.
Yao elected to have the early go, and it wasn't a bad idea as scrambling back to her line was handcuffed, but nothing to concern her in the end. But it was good work from Yao Moonja. Well, Pinto did say that this was going to be a team that would be supremely organized, and they're going to have to find ways to work around their system. Been poking and prodding, but haven't been able to find a way through yet. So it's 0-0 heading into the final 6 minutes of the first half. Over the top for Jarrett. And poked out of bounds by Doe. Throw in for the U.S.
Get higher, Macy.
Senior team just learning their opponents for the World Cup in France this coming summer, as they will be playing Sweden, Thailand, and Chile in group play.
Yeah, that came about yesterday while the U.S. Soccer Development Academy, the winter showcase going on. So big moment for a lot of the people around here at Lakewood Ranch because they were following along as that was announced.
Great, flying forward. Glides past the challenge, gets it out for Spanstra. Has support. Rouse flings it in. Cook first to it, and she'll be whistled for the foul. Free kick for China as we head into the final 5 minutes of the first half. Not much for referee Jamie Padilla to do so far. But China is going to make their first change of the evening.
Substitution in the 40th minute.
As coming
China,
off
is
Yang Shosha,
Tian,
and she is going to be replaced
Yang.
by Tian Zhulang.
You know, this might come down to a little bit of that jet lag, and you know, we can see here they're going to go with the bigger body up top as we see the substitute Tian Yingling come on and go immediately up front where Yang Shosha was right in front of the defenders.
Thrown for Martinez. As the first touch for Tian. Tian again. Hansen shielding it into the corner, and safety first from Hansen as she'll play it into touch. Zoe's throwing. Well, there's two players to find in the box. And they do find Tian at the top of it, but it's won back by Cook. Cook was able to get the first challenge, but her touch was a bit too heavy. And Tian is in. And Bell coming across to make the block. What an important intervention that was from Macy Bell. And there is just a glimpse into why she's wearing the captain's armband this evening.
And you can see just a little too far in this, and it was a deflection. And this is certainly something strategic for China as they go with the bigger body up top. And it's maybe sees a matchup issue that they may try to exploit. Something where they'll try and give a bigger target person in order to hold someone up.
Yao missed it. This one off of Zoe last. It'll be a throw in for Brianna Martinez. Hansen steps in and gets a touch. Rouse loses it. And good defending from Macy Bell once again in a dangerous area.
Again, a careless loss there by Rouse. Tried to just push it around the defender, and you can't lose it there in the defensive third. Good job defensively there.
Cook drives it forward beyond Spanstra. Jean lifts it in, and it's away by Hansen. Gray with room to run. Over the top for Spanstra. Cuts inside of Hahn. Tried to slip it in for the run of Kroger. Good skill from Yang Xian to keep possession for China. And there's the press paying off. Ball cleared into midfield, but the U.S. should have won it. Hansen being pressured, but she's able to get it back to Handcuff, who will get it away from Tian. Into Hansen. Gray scoops it over for Cook, who will get it out wide for Martinez, as the U.S. do well to escape the first line of pressure. Into the final minute of the first 45. Chance for Gray at the top of the box. And it skips into the arms of Zhu Mengdi. Forward for Tian to chase. And Hansen beats her to the punch. Martinez unable to keep it in bounds. So perhaps one last chance for China as we head towards first half stoppage time. Well, there's space to get the cross off here, and they do.
The referee has
Yang Xian at the top of the box. Her shot is charged down. And first to it is Kroger. Able to relieve the pressure off the dribble. Now looking to lead the counterattack. Slid through for Spanstra. She'll let it run off for Jarrett. Jarrett has a step, and it's beaten away at the near post by Zhu. Good idea from Jarrett, trying to use a little bit of deception, faking the cross for Spanstra, but Zhu was wise to it.
Yeah, and that was a great counterattack. Jarrett came in kind of looking to see what was there, but opportunity, whether it was on target, maybe she should have gone at it. It did go the angle, but it's still a good counter, and you put the shot on goal, at least gives you the corner kick.
Meanwhile, the fourth official had signaled for 1 minute of stoppage time. So this perhaps the last chance of the first half for the U.S. Well, it's a good ball in the header, and they're going to whistle for a foul at the back post as Bell is called for going up over the back of the defender. So that should do it for the first half. Another look here, and I really didn't see much in it. You have to feel that once Zhu sends this ball into midfield, that's going to be it for the first half.
Might have some blood or something. I don't know. She's being told to come off the field, but now not.
Oh, and intercepted. Spanstra had it poked away from her. Pinto over the top, and Gray just unable to bring it down. Well, the U.S. were given an extra 40 seconds, and they almost made it count. But at halftime, it's the USA 0, China 0. Thoughts on the first half, Mike Pepper?
No, I think that for the first 30 minutes, the U.S. kind of did what they wanted, at least creating chances, better possession, what they had. We saw China really start to maybe feel something. We saw them with the substitution. They ended up creating a couple of opportunities, never really dangerous on net, but they created those chances, and they made a sub here. Interesting enough that a bigger body target up front. They might see something, and we'll see, but the last couple minutes the U.S. adjusted and seemed to recover.
Well, at the half, it's the United States 0, China 0. We're going to step aside, but we'll have the second half kickoff for you on U.S. Soccer's YouTube page right after this.
Substitution at halftime for USA. Entering the match number 14, Abby Allen. Leaving the match number 15, Lainey Rouse. Also entering the match number 3, Natalie Maurer. Leaving the match number 2, Brianna Martinez.
We're getting set for a second half kickoff, 0-0 between USA and China. As you're seeing, plenty of chances for the U.S. Pinto missing that one just wide. Final 45 minutes underway, and the U.S. have made 2 changes at halftime as both outside backs in Lainey Rouse and Brianna Martinez are off, being replaced by Natalie Maurer and Abby Allen. Allen played center back against France, so it'll be interesting to see whether she plays on the outside or not. And yes, she is going to play center back, and Hansen has come out wide. Allen was excellent with her distribution out of the center back position against France. She had the assist on the goal for Kroger. And this time she gets it back to Handcuff.
Not every day you see your back substituted for, but there was that run for China, and maybe they just wanted to see what else these young players can do. Again, it's so early in the cycle. You have players you want to get in, particularly up there on the left side with Maurer on the overlapping run. We'll try and see her go through more, but maybe they want to see also what Rouse can do on the outside, or Hansen can do on the outside, excuse me.
This is Zoe. Yang. Inside for Uyao. Forced to go back with it. Do. Do played all 3 of China's matches at the U20 World Cup last summer. And scored a goal in the 1-1 draw with Nigeria. As Cook intercepts in midfield. Pinto has space, running right down the gut of the Chinese defense. Tried to slide it through for Spanstra. Just able to get to it. And Jarrett gets the ball, but I think the offside flag was up against Spanstra. She weaved in and out of that back line.
Yeah, they're going to call offside. It was a very delayed, and obviously that's what you do nowadays to see if they're involved. But I think because it was deflected and because it was, I don't think Jarrett was. I think once it hit off the foot, she continued her run. She was behind the defender, but then by the time it rolled around the defender, she was already a couple steps and came back. I do think that the line probably missed that one.
Pinto slides it out for Jarrett. Looking to run. Has it poked away. That's a great job by Allen stepping up from her center back position. She'll be whistled for the foul, but I love when a center back can step up and cause that kind of pressure in midfield.
Way back here.
No, gets it across. Nice leave off by Yao. And it's Zoe who slides it in for Yao. Knotted clear by Allen. And Pinto is back to help tidy up. Hansen, get it back to Handcuff.
High and wide now, Tori. Get in our shape now, sister. If it goes to the
Cook
left
comes
side,
in between the center backs to receive the ball and sprays it out wide. Maurer rolls it forward. Yao over the top looking for the run of Zoe. It's a good ball, but Allen is there first and she'll track it down. Jarrett overtakes. Spanstra. Looking to engineer half yard of space to get the cross off. Oh, she's able to do it. It's beautifully done. Pinto twisting, turning, full of intent. Goes down. No foul, says the referee. And China looking to dribble out of traffic. That's going to work out for them. Oh, great job tracking back by Kroger to win it for the U.S. And they can go at China once again. Jarrett will track this down. It pumps one of the box. It's a good ball. Headed back and hooked clear. Well, Kroger's been excellent this first game and a half. Could still very well be the difference maker in these final 40 minutes as Jarrett set herself up for the cross. It was a good ball in, and look at the way she puts that back into the danger area rather than trying to head it in from an acute angle. It was China who reacted quickest, however, and it remains 0-0 in the 51st minute. Allen slides it inside for Cook. Looking to run. That was a great touch from Gray to get it to Spanstra. Jarrett's finding more and more space down this right-hand side. She plays it across. It falls for Spanstra. Gets by 1, 2, puts it across, and it's the opening goal for the U.S. Cook finishes off a brilliant move. The U.S. have their noses in front in the 52nd minute, and it's no more than they deserve for their enterprise.
Well, it was a great job, Jarrett, picking out the player. Unfortunately for China, it went right off there. She tried to go over a little bit, but it was a dangerous part of getting it in, and then Spanstra. What great individual work, and then finding Cook standing by herself just inside the penalty spot.
Missed clearance. Spanstra took full advantage, and look at her pick her head up. And Cook made no mistake with that one.
First minute by number 13, Isabella Cook.
The Eclipse United midfielder scores her first goal at the U20 level. And the USA are off and running.
It's kind of why you draw it up in the halftime conversation. Let's get one early. Let's figure it out. A couple coaches I've talked with, and it's one of those most overstated things is this ball. A little dangerous for a moment. But one of the most goals change games. And by that, of course, everyone looks at it and go, yeah, of course, goals change games. But what it does is China had been sitting back just a little bit. Now they can't continue to sit back if they want a result. They're going to have to come forward, which could create more opportunities for the United States.
Tian had too much of Allen's jersey, so it's a free kick for the U.S. I think on the other side of the coin, it settles the U.S., who might have been getting frustrated that they could not find a way through. And when you're a bit more relaxed, sometimes that's the reason the floodgates open.
It does. And how that goes into the case, now you might not be as afraid to make that penetrating ball forward, try to go through there. You go, maybe it can work out. Maybe you just have that extra step. And that's going to change up a lot of how these teams go. It's still into a point, maybe the next 6 to 8 minutes. But once you hit that hour mark, you're going to really see China have to maybe open this up just a little bit, and you'll see the United States maybe try and take advantage of some of those openings.
Nodded clear by Yang Su-hui. And it'll be a throw in for Hansen. He's playing catch with Pinto, who's closed down. Look at that for a ball from Pinto. Into the space for Jarrett. But getting there first is Doe. So it'll be thrown for Hansen. The 17-year-old gets it in to number 17. It'll be Hansen again. Tigers work from Spanstra to win it back. Far side for Maurer, her first real involvement on the offensive end. Cook at the top of the box. First touch was a bit too heavy, but she continued to chase it. And Shen unable to track it down on the far side. China getting ready to make a change. They're second of the evening.
Entering the match number 15, Shu. Leaving the match number 10, Yao.
So Yao Moonja's night is done, as she is going to be replaced by Ting Shui. Shui plays for Jiangsu Suning. And a free kick for the U.S.
Commit somebody, Abby. Commit somebody first. Take the space again.
One of the biggest things for head coach Carrie Sarver is that her side continue to implement their attacking plan, going forward with possession, looking to penetrate, and a lot of movement off each other as they look to combine.
It looks like they'll be ready to make 2 more subs as well.
Be decisive.
So it's Karina Dyke who's getting set to check in, as well as Rylan Turner. Both of them were starters in the match against France. And as you'd expect, changes because Carrie Sarver and her staff want to get a look at everyone.
Yeah, and again, did you mention these 2 started last time? And it's just 2 days ago. It is still a little bit of a rest. China, albeit could be jet lag, but these they haven't played a game yet, so you want to be able to rotate some in to see a little bit more how they react, not just from a starting position, but how they come on and recover here into a relief position.
Substitution in the
Well, Carrie Sarver said we don't have substitutes, we have game changers. And in fact, in the lineup she gave me, she had the starting 11, and then for the players on the bench, it said game changers. They certainly were that in the first game. Let's see if they can be here as Karina Dyke and Rylan Turner come on. Rylan Turner, just 16 years of age, was a member of the U17 side that won the CONCACAF championship last year and qualified for the World Cup at the U17 level. China pouring forward. It's a first touch for the substitute. Unable to slip it inside with Shui. And Shen will get it out wide. Ouyao. And Bell was too tactile for the referee's liking. And it'll be a free kick from a very dangerous position for China.
Yeah, it's going to be where one of those cases, the wall will be set up inside the 18. How many handcuff will ask for? It looks like maybe 4 at this point, but they are going to bring in a couple of the taller bodies towards that. The U.S., interesting enough, going to be holding it right at the 18. That's a lot of space, particularly when that wall is going to be counted back down to 16 at this point. It's a lot of space between handcuff and that back line. Very dangerous here on this chance.
It's Yang Su-hui who's over it. 6 players queued up across the top of the box in a red jersey, and the header saved by handcuff. It was Tian who got to it predictably, but the header, not enough power on it to concern handcuff.
Keep moving it quickly.
Take the space, Abby. Take the space before you distribute. There you go.
Oh, it was a nice ball played in, and Tian, oh, I think Turner did just enough to put her off, and you could see the frustration on her face that she didn't get more behind it. And now, burging through the line, Ouyao. And Bell did a great job to stand her up. Not out of the woods yet, though, the U.S.
Shape, get your shape. Stay tight in, Ray.
Shen will spray it over to the near side. Turner got a head on it, but it falls to Ouyao. Back for Yang. And over the top looking for Kruger going the other way. Back for Zhu. And she'll lift this one into midfield. Killed instantly by Maurer. Lovely turn from Gray.
Get it, Tori. Get it, Tori. Get it, Tori. Get it. Ask for it.
Hansen.
Oh, now we moved them. Oh, good soccer, White.
Pinto has popped up on the near side. He's looking to combine with Jarrett. It's a coming together of the number 8s, and it will be a free kick for China. Yang Sui into Ouyao.
Keep it and move them. Keep it and move them.
So interchangeable are the U.S. top pieces. Spanstra got the start the other night at the right wing, but was playing in the center, now back out on the right here in this chance, perhaps.
Coming across to cut it off is due, as Spanstra wouldn't allow her to clear it. Will be a thrown for China, but it's a chance for the U.S. to lock it in. So we're past the hour mark at the Premier Sports Campus in Lakewood Ranch, and the U.S. with a 1-0 lead, courtesy of a 52nd minute strike from Cook. But it was down to wonderful work along the ring from Jarrett to get the cross off. And then Spanstra picked up the loose ball in the box, dribbled through 2 defenders, and laid it off for Cook to finish, as a yellow card has been given to Tori Hansen for the foul in midfield.
Yeah, one of the professional fouls here, grabbing, knew that the rest of the defense trying to recover. You can see only the hand on the hip, pulling the jersey just a bit, but that was enough. Deemed to be yellow by Jimmy Padilla.
Tori Hansen of USA.
So another free kick for Yang Su Hui. This time tried to zip it in on the ground, and it's Pinto to go the other way. Good job by China to shut the door. Pinto wins it back. Great job by Pinto not to give up on it. And now the U.S. are looking to go the other way, but that was just a bit too far and a little too much pace on that ball, looking for Kroger on the far side. So it'll be a throw-in for China, as it's Zhan who will take it. Neatly played into the feet of Kroger. Little touch on for Gray, works her way into the box. Was unable to knife her way through, and it's China to go the other way. Shui, inside for Zoe. Doe, nobody making the run. And back to tidy up is Allen.
Get off the sideline now, Abby. Get off the sideline. Higher, Abby and Macy, higher!
This one almost made its way through for Turner. It's the U.S. looking to squeeze the game. China do well to play out of it. But they run out of real estate on the far side. However, it took a touch off of Maurer, so it's going to be another throw-in for China. Good step by Hansen, and a great first-time ball for Spanstra. Spanstra through for Turner. Not a bad idea. Just didn't have the angle. Ryland Turner.
A good vision by Spanstra. We saw her obviously with the assist she got earlier and in looking early. In this case, finds Turner. Don't like how the touch was going away and at that point, but that is there. It was struck well. Unfortunately, when you're running away from it, you've got to come across even more so.
Kroger was also lurking at the back post. Might have been an option. But you love that instinct from strikers, though. That when they get the ball inside the box, they have just one thing on their mind.
Yeah, and that's, you don't want that part to ever change. You're right, but you do want them to make smarter decisions at times.
Now we're on the overlap. And it drifts over Zhu's crossbar.
And maybe smarter is not the right word. Maybe better decisions, because it was not a not smart decision. It just had better options, it appeared.
Yeah, if she turns and hits a scorcher, though, we're talking about what a great decision it was.
You're right, but I mean, she had a couple steps on the defender away from it, as opposed to being right on the defender and maybe taking that advantage. So situational it is. So Spancer, though, with a chance now, and she's been pretty good finding the open player from that point, but decides to go the safe route now.
Well, you can see why she went to the U20 World Cup last summer, despite being just 18, Spanstra. Seems to get more and more confident each time she gets the ball on her foot. So it'll be another goal kick for Zhu. What does China have to do if they're going to get back into this one?
Well, China just needs to have a little bit more as far as finding that empty space. We see that what they were doing in the first half that created it, they kind of had that pressure. They see something, but the U.S. made some adjustments, and they have not made the adjustments back.
Dyke. Allen. Pinto. It's another fine-flowing move from the good U.S., and a good ball stood up. Brought down by Zoe. Able to skip by Hansen. And there's space for Young to run. It's not a bad ball to the back post, but nobody in a red jersey making that run. And Handcuff will watch it roll over the end line for a goal kick.
And what we see generally when China is dangerous, that there is that separation. They're not keeping the group together. The midfield's not right behind it. You have 3 or 4 players up, but then you have a couple players further back, and that does make those counterattacks even a little more difficult for China. And in that case, they just probably need to work as a group just a little bit more.
So a throw-in for Yang. Ouyao. Han. She drives it forward, intercepted by the U.S. to the feet of Turner. Pinto wants it square. Instead, it's going to come over to Spanstra. Spanstra lifts it in. Turner trying to turn. Kroger's shot takes a deflection. And Zhu won't get to it in time. It's going to be a corner kick for the U.S., their third of the game. And it's going to be Kroger to come over to take. Well, she's been so impressive, Sam Kroger. The 16-year-old out of West Milford, New Jersey, has been busy as of late. Was with the U.S. U19s in the Netherlands for a camp and 2 matches last month. And now taking a corner for the U20s. It's a good one. And just wide. Oh, Macy Bell thought she had the U.S.'s second. And it'll be a goal kicked for Zhu and a relieved China.
Goalkeeper has to be sure on that. That's 4 yards off the line. You got to help your defenders out in that case, and China was rather fortunate there was no one in white that got a good look at that ball from 4 yards out.
American Outlaws out here supporting the US U20 women here at the Nike International Friendlies. Always do such a great job, the American Outlaws. Had a bagpipe accompaniment on Friday as well for the France game.
Yes, they did.
Through for Yang Xian. She's got space. Allen trying to get back. It's a good ball across. And the finish needs to be better at the far post. The USA escaping as Ting Shui was unable to direct her effort goalward.
I think escaping is an excellent word in this case because there were 3 China players towards the back post. It bounced past one of them. There's 2 more by themselves, and the U.S. not a good job marking on the way back. That was a little bit of a breakdown. Fortunate not to give up the equalizer.
Li Yanna checks in as Zoe will come out. The 17-year-old Li plays her club ball for Shandong. It's the Chinese side being led by Wang Jun, who played professionally in the Chinese Super League and was just the head coach for this tournament after taking over for the Dane Peter Bond, but he has coached these U20 Chinese ladies in 2 previous U20 World Cups. He said his favorite thing about coaching is getting the opportunity to develop players that hopefully will go on to become famous and feature in World Cups at the senior level. Neatly bought down by Hansen. Over for Spanstra. It's been an electrifying tonight off the dribble, but this time can't get by Yang Sui. Gets back to win it though, Spanstra. Great effort. And slid through looking for the run of Hansen. It was a good idea from Pinto. Hansen just didn't get there in time. And now China with space to operate.
It was a nice ball let out.
Get out there, Corey.
Yang Xian.
Good. Now keep it.
Gray. Pinto does well to ride the first challenge and get it off for Hansen. Spanstra has been so dangerous picking up the ball out wide tonight and then looking to go inside. Now it's Gray who's looking to do that. This time she'll get to the byline, cuts it back. A great job to shield that ball. China now looking to work it out of the back. Li did well to sort her feet out there. She'll get it again. First time ball forward for Tian. Back to Li. And it's Kroger to win it back for the U.S. Just as she's done all throughout these Nike International Friendlies.
Move it around. We're winning. Move it around. That's all we got to do. Move it.
Pinto.
Move it, Pinto. That's fine. Draw
Has
out.
been so good in possession tonight, Brianna Pinto.
Other way, Abby.
Hansen. Inside for Dyke.
Go get it again, Corey.
Maurer venturing forward. Top of the box for Pinto. She has a go. And it wasn't a bad effort.
Abby, Macy, we're winning, so we can be patient, right? We don't have to rush it.
But Pinto does such a good job of holding up runs, but then darting into spaces. You often talk about players that are very good at waiting, but then making late-breaking 15 to 20-yard runs into the box. Well, Pinto does them in 5 to 8-yard bursts. And the shot always rising, but it was a great job to put herself in that position. And I think the reason it was rising was because she had to lean back for it just a bit.
Is one of the things that as you get tired, not to say that she is, but one of the things you have to focus a little bit more just on technique, because once you're there, you lean back, and that's generally what does happen.
Well, I think I misspoke. I meant she had to come back for it a bit as that ball was played
Right.
a little bit behind her, so she had to wrap her foot around it, which kind of puts you in a position where when you're taking that shot, you have to lean back a bit.
Does, but again, you just have to, you're right, I mean, because you have to step into it too, and then sometimes it's just like, you feel like that, you worked hard, you feel like you had that shot, and then to not get that squared around, generally we'll give it right back to him.
Pinto. Gray. Spanster with the first time cross. It's a good ball, and Kroger just misses it at the back post. Oh, Kruger was so close to getting her second of this tournament. So it was a great ball, first time from Spanstra. Might have just been that little touch from the defender that put Kruger off.
Entering the match number 21, Sydney Simmons. Leaving the match number 8, Brianna Pinto.
And now Pinto is going to come out as Simmons is going to make her first appearance at the tournament. Oh, Pinto so unlucky not to get her goal that she deserves. Well, it was a great 74+ minute shift from her. And you could see what Carrie Sarver thought of her effort tonight. And now Sydney Simmons, who made 22 appearances in her freshman season for Duke, comes on. Kruger.
Back to the triangle, Sid. Well done. Keep coming, Sid. Right there. You're good. You're good. You're good.
Keep it. Keep it. Draw 'em out. Draw 'em out.
Good. Find her front foot, Abby. Front foot. Gain ground here.
Abby.
Well, one thing I've loved in watching training and listening to these coaches is they're focusing on the most minute of details as China making a change.
Leaving the match number 8, Oh
As
Yao.
Oh Yao comes out and is replaced by Swoon Peng Wei. Swoon, a 17-year-old who plays for Dalian Liaoning. Now the pressure a bit higher from China. Handcuff gets it over to Kroger.
Back to the track.
Bell comes over to win it for the U.S. It'll be a throw-in for the Stars and Stripes. Won by Kruger on the far side. So it's Natalie Maurer to take. The 18-year-old who plays for Richmond United gets it down the wing. Inside for Coriana Dyke. Doe. Yang. Nicely done from Lee. But the U.S. happy with the fact that they've done enough to force her to go back with it, as they look to stay in their shape. Kroger with room to run. Slid out wide for Spanstra. Arrows her way into the box. Ooh, and Spanstra pulled up. Hope that she's okay, as this one's gonna go out of bounds.
Yeah, you don't like no contact. That's what we saw there.
The training staff coming out to check on hers. You see, she had the move, and I think she had the beating of Yang there, but then pulled up, immediately reaching for both her calves, and you just hope that it's cramps, but USA preparing to make a change. As coming on is going to be Jalen Eisenhart.
Well, that is encouraging, as you said, cramps, and you can kind of see the massaging of the calf. This, and she's sitting there not in any anguish or pain. It is obviously something that caught on her as she made that move.
Well, the U.S. going into this game said they wanted to have better defending. Head coach Carrie Sarver thought that their shape was good against France, but their defending was a bit naive. She wanted to move the ball faster in rotation and also to play forward quicker. Have the U.S. checked all 3 boxes through the first 79 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, you're winning 1-0. I think that there is a certain amount. I think that you would like that. And again, it's so much more when you're early in the cycle, Mark. And we talked about this after the 2-1 defeat to France. It wasn't about the result. It's about how it goes. And it's really not so much about the result here. Obviously, anytime you can get a win, because it just breeds the confidence that these teams can get. And I think, in this case, she's not going to be unhappy, but I think that she still sees a lot of room for improvement.
Substitution in the 79th minute.
And there is the
USA,
change
entering the match number 20,
as Jalen Eisenhart
leaving the
comes
match
on
number 7, Alexa
and
Spanstra.
replaces Spanstra. And Spanstra was excellent tonight, wasn't she, Mike?
Oh, absolutely. I thought, the assist on the goal, I think that she was creative, but the more so creative in that offensive half for the U.S.
Hint of a handball. Into the final 10 minutes. U.S. with a 1-0 lead, courtesy of a 52nd minute strike from Cook. She clanged it in off the underside of the crossbar after excellent work from Alexa Spanstra in the box. Still give Cook the credit, though. Had to get herself in that position and still had to apply the finish, and she certainly did that. The USA looking to kill off this game.
A little lazy on that one. Rather fortunate.
Yang Xian looking to run. Has a step on Hansen. And the cross goes into the side netting.
Tori, if you can't get closer.
Head up, Tori. Here we go.
Between the U17 men's Nike International Friendlies and now these U20 women's Nike International Friendlies, we've also had the U.S. Soccer Development Academy Boys and Girls Showcases. This one of the final few matches of 568 games that have been played here at the Premier Sports Campus in Lakewood Ranch, Florida over the last 2 weeks, and it's all going to end with France taking on China on Tuesday.
Yeah, and that's another chance here for the Chinese team to see a few more of the players. You talked about the cycle. France did get another opportunity today. They took on a select team of the Development Academy and ended up coming away victors 2-0. But the girls for the select held themselves up really well. And I think in those key games, it is, again, the experience, particularly as you come into the end of the year. Obviously, the soccer year is year-round. It isn't necessarily end in December. But, the holidays, for the most part, teams are going to get a week or so where they can just kind of recuperate, so they can go through, and that's a big time for them.
Turner on the chase and forces the clearance into touch from Doe.
Abby, Macy, they're starting to press, so now we can play beyond their press. They're not giving us time anymore. Play through
The next U20 World Cup won't be until 2020. However, FIFA said they will announce in the first quarter of 2019 where that U20 World Cup will be. The 3 countries that have put in bids are South Korea, Mexico, and India. So those are the 3 to choose from. Of course, the US and China and everyone else involved have a long way to go. You're going to see a lot more players coming in and out of the pool in the different camps the US will have. As gray lines went up at the top of the box. Simmons crossed to the back post. Gray brings it down. Sydney Simmons. It falls for Turner. Pops it just over the crossbar. And getting back to it. We'll take a look at this replay first, but Simmons I think she was looking for the feed for Turner. Worked out in the end.
I thought maybe she had singled out the runner of going in, Emily Gray, and thought maybe would go through, but Turner ended up getting the rebound and just not able to put it on target.
Well, a lot of the college players were unavailable for this tournament, not only because they had just finished a very long college season, but also because some of them still had exams or were carrying knocks from their college season. So, but it also gives a lot of these younger players a real opportunity here with the U20s.
It really does, and I think that's a big part of what they need out here to just get that experience and to see the college players again just kind of probably a little bit of time to recuperate for themselves, because many of these ladies had been well into the NCAA tournament.
This particular U.S. roster is composed of 8 college players and 12 players playing at the various club levels in youth soccer.
Hear the coaching instruction there going on. Asking them to push just a little higher into the line, just to stretch it out a little bit before, to give you some space in the midfield.
Gonna have the game's second yellow card. So this one was shown to Han. Mauer's free kick is swung across for Allen, who will get it out wide to Hansen. Allen will get it back to Handcuff, well out of her goal.
Yellow card issued in the 85th minute to number 17, Han of China.
Gotta tackle through it, Jay!
Referee playing advantage. The attacker has a step on Mauer, able to put the cross in, but well positioned is Macy Bell. However, the clearance will go out, and it's the first corner kick of the game for China.
And a dangerous time for it. You're talking the last 5 minutes, they were able to push forward, get the cross in. But as you mentioned, the defense well positioned. You don't like giving up corners. One thing we can look at now, and this is really something that's gone through, is that front from Winter Storm Diego is really kind of be pushing this corner into the wind, so something she'll want to drive as opposed to float. No, she floats this one, it's going to hang up a little bit.
Yang Su Hui in her normal position over the dead ball. In swinger from the far side. It's a dangerous one. Keeper stays on her line, and the shot is blocked.
Well,
Abby Allen doing the defending. That's another corner kick for China.
That was a teaser, just about 7 or 8 yards out. Obviously, the keeper, when it hangs up like that, you see it in traffic. At 6 yards, you'd like to be able to clean that one up, but good job on the defense. And Bell, or no, was that Bell? Yeah, I think who was able to block that. Or Abby Allen, I think it was. Sorry about that. Give the young lady the credit she deserves.
On a downward header, and it's easy for Handcuff in the end, but more nervous moments for this U.S. defense late on.
Yeah, you can see in that one was obviously with the wind. That was driven across, and free header, and unfortunately for China, that was headed right down into the ground.
Handcuff teases Tian. Long ball down. Oh, Kruger and Allen, two 16-year-olds who have really impressed over the 2 games.
And getting a lot of playing time too, and that's the thing. You know, you do want to see them coming in.
Abby, higher, Abby, higher.
That's going to be a free kick as more time will bleed off this clock.
Just stay, Tori, just stay. Don't let Tori. Tori, just stay right now. Stay, see what happens. Don't come up. Stay there.
Mauer will play this short. And we're not keeping this statistic, Mike, but I think the U.S. possession would be maybe 60-40 throughout this game, and they've had it for the majority of the second half. A few nervous moments, as we talked about, but nothing really where you felt that China had the lion's share of possession over a certain spell and had the U.S. backline on their heels.
Well, the last couple corner kicks, and the one thing it is in a 1-0 game, all it takes is one chance.
Well, we certainly saw that with the U17 men as they bossed the game against Brazil, and then one foul in the final few moments and a brilliant free kick. As these U.S. U20 women must close out this game as we're into the final minute of the 90.
And to a certain extent against Portugal, too. They gave up the last 10 minutes. It wasn't certainly as late as the Brazil goal, but those late opportunities, squandering 1-0 leads in both of those games.
The U.S. on the verge of closing out their first camp of this new U20 cycle in style. So all that's left is to see how much stoppage time goes up on the fourth official's board.
China has pressed 2 people up, and that is 3 minutes. That will be added, Mark, but you can see they've now moved 2 forwards up for the first time.
Turner keeps it in. Not sure why she didn't turn and go to the corner there, but it will be the U.S.'s ball nonetheless.
Learning moment.
Hansen. 45 seconds have elapsed, the minimum 3 stoppage time. Well, it's a good battle to keep it in the corner, but China will win the free kick as the foul is whistled against Jalen Eisenhart. Want to take a moment to say a big thank you to our cameramen and women who've done an excellent job, not only over the Nike International Friendlies, but the 11 Development Academy Showcase games as well. It's excellent work over these 2 weeks from Matt Carragher, Martine Sosa, Megan Leeshammer, and Brian Williams. And of course, our excellent producers, John Doherty and Scott Cheney.
Now, they've had it easy, though. They've been in a tent. These cameramen out in the elements every night. I'm just kidding, guys. The tent's not heated.
We're definitely hearing a lot of not happy chatter. So there'll be a throw in for Hansen.
We've had a couple of really cold days here as well. When we started, both of the men and the women on those first couple days. About to turn cold again, but we'll be able to get out of town before that.
More time will come off this clock as Coriana Dyke is brought to ground. Her older sister is teammates with Brianna Martinez at Notre Dame.
Surprised my voice hasn't started to sound like helium, since the producers could probably do something about that.
I love helium. I can't speak highly enough about it. So this one comes back to handcuff. And that will do it. The USA get their first win of the new cycle as they outlast China 1-0 on a 52nd minute strike from Isabella Cook. Well, 1-0 though. Really not indicative of the way they dominated this game, Mike.
Yeah, we talked about, the possession that it was there, and certainly, yeah, the possession was there. A couple of chances. We had the one rattle off the crossbar, the corner kick. I think that when looking at it, a couple of opportunities more than what to get to China. There was about 15 minutes of spell in the first half, and then again late in the second half. But overall, in control, and did get the goal, which really kind of helped solidify the win.
Well, it's a great way way to end the first U20 camp of the new cycle as the United States defeat China 1-0. For Mike Pepper, I'm Mark Serber, and for all of us at US Soccer, thank you so much for watching from the Premier Sports Campus in Lakewood Ranch, Florida. And thank you for watching throughout these Nike International Friendlies as it finishes the USA 1, China 0. Have a great night, everyone.
Friendlies, Benny.
Thank you. Thank you, Billy. Thank you.